October 8th, 2018, 2:15 p.m. I was standing in a gallery in Manhattan, 57th Street, floor-to-ceiling windows, white walls. A receptionist offered me champagne. I took it. I never took champagne, but today was different. My name is Robert. I was 55 years old, retired lawyer. I had spent 30 years at a firm in New York. Corporate law, mergers and acquisitions. I made partner at 38. I retired at 53 with $18 million in the bank. My wife, Margaret, was an art consultant. She had an eye. I had a wallet. We collected art together. Not for love, for investment. We bought Warhols. We bought Liechtensteins. We bought a small Rothko for $2.8 million. Sold it 3 years later for $4.1 million. Profit, $1.3 million. We were good. We were smart. We thought we were invincible. Then I saw it, on the wall of the gallery. A painting, 60 inches by 60 inches. Acrylic and oil stick on canvas. A crown, a skull, dense scribbles. It looked like a child had made it. That was the point. It was a Basquiat. Jean-Michel Basquiat, the downtown prodigy, died at 27. Heroin overdose. His paintings sold for millions. This one was called Skull with Crown. The gallery owner, a man named Henri, said it was painted in 1982, one of Basquiat's best years. Henri was French. He wore a bespoke suit. He had a gallery in Paris and a gallery in New York. He had sold Basquiats to hedge fund managers, to movie stars, to Saudi princes. He had provenance. He had paperwork. He had a story. The asking price was $4.7 million. I called Margaret. She said, buy it. I said, are you sure? She said, Basquiat is only going up. She was right. A Basquiat had sold for $57 million the year before. Another for $110 million. $4.7 million was a steal. I negotiated. Henri wouldn't budge. He said, someone else is interested. I didn't believe him. I bought anyway, for $1,700,000. Wire transfer. I watched the money leave my account. I felt nothing. The painting hung in our living room. Fifth Avenue apartment, for 1,000 square feet. Central Park views. The Basquiat was the centerpiece. Guests asked about it. I said, it's a Basquiat. They nodded. They didn't know. They pretended. 2 years passed. The art market boomed. Our collection was worth $27 million on paper. The Basquiat alone was estimated at $8 million. We were up $3.3 million on that one painting. We talked about selling. Margaret said, wait, it'll go to $10 million. I said, okay. Then the call came. June 15th, 2020, 10:30 a.m. A man named Dr. Thomas Albright. He was an art historian from Columbia University. He specialized in Basquiat. He said, Mr. Robert, I have some concerns about your painting. I said, what concerns? He said, I've seen photos. The brushwork doesn't match Basquiat's known works from 1982. The crown is off. The paper label on the back is inconsistent with the gallery's records from that period. I said, you're wrong. He said, I'm not. I called Henri. He didn't answer. I emailed. No response. I called the gallery in Paris. The number was disconnected. I called the gallery in New York. A recording said this number is no longer in service. I hired a forensic art investigator. Her name was Dr. Valerie Cruz. She cost $1,200 an hour. She spent 3 months analyzing the painting. Infrared reflectography, X-ray fluorescence, microscopic paint sampling. She compared it to known Basquiats. She found polyester fibers in the canvas. Basquiat used Belgian linen. He never used polyester. She found zinc white pigment. Zinc white wasn't widely available until the 1990s. Basquiat died in 1988. The verdict: the painting was a forgery, created in the late 1990s, painted by someone who had studied Basquiat's style but missed the details. The provenance documents were forged. The gallery was a front. Henri had disappeared. I lost $4.7 million. I sued. I hired a litigation firm. They cost $2,500 an hour. We tracked Henri to Switzerland. He had already sold his galleries. He had transferred his money to offshore accounts. We couldn't touch him. The Swiss courts refused to freeze his assets. He was gone. My legal fees, $780,000. I paid it. I had to. The painting was worthless. I couldn't sell it. I couldn't donate it. I couldn't even give it away. A museum would want proof of authenticity. I had proof of forgery. Margaret was devastated. She blamed herself. She had pushed me to buy it. She stopped going to art openings. She stopped seeing her art world friends. She stopped leaving the apartment. I told her it wasn't her fault. She didn't believe me. Our marriage suffered. We stopped talking. We ate dinner in silence. We slept in separate bedrooms. I moved into the guest room. She didn't ask why. In 2021, I sold the rest of our collection. The Warhol, the Liechtenstein, the Rothko, the other pieces. I sold them at auction. They sold for $18.4 million, less than the $27 million we had estimated. The market had softened. I took the loss. Total net worth, after everything, $11 million. Down from $18 million at retirement. Down from $27 million at the peak. I had lost $7 million in 3 years. The Basquiat alone was a $4.7 million hole. The rest was legal fees, market losses, and bad timing. I retired for real. No more collecting. No more investing. No more art world. Margaret and I separated in 2022. She moved to a condo in Connecticut. I stayed in New York. We didn't divorce. We just couldn't live together anymore. The painting sat between us. Even after it was gone, I sold the Fifth Avenue apartment. $5.2 million. I bought a small condo in Brooklyn. $1.1 million. 2 bedrooms. A view of a parking lot. I don't care. I have a couch. I have a TV. I have a kitchen I never use. I teach art law at a community college. 1 class a week. $4,000 a semester. I don't need the money. I need the purpose. My students are 20 years old. They don't know about Basquiat. They don't know about Henri. They know about TikTok. I don't understand them. They don't understand me. I am 62 years old now. I have $2 million in index funds. I live on $150,000 a year. My expenses are low. No gallery fees. No art advisors. No champagne. I still have the painting. The forgery. It's in a storage unit in Queens. I pay $200 a month. I visited it once. I looked at it. The crown. The skull. The scribbles. It was beautiful. That was the worst part. It was beautiful. It just wasn't real. I think about Henri sometimes. The French man in the bespoke suit. I wonder where he is. Probably on a beach. Probably spending my money. I hope he feels guilty. I know he doesn't. I think about Margaret. She calls me on my birthday. We talk for 10 minutes. She asks if I'm eating. I say yes. She asks if I'm happy. I say I'm fine. She says that's not the same. She's right. I think about Dr. Albright, the historian who called. He saved me from worse. If I had sold the painting as authentic, I could have gone to prison. Fraud. Misrepresentation. He didn't have to call. He called anyway. I sent him a thank you note. He never responded. I don't go to galleries anymore. I don't go to auctions. I don't read art news. I walk past the fancy buildings on 57th Street. I see the white walls, the receptionists, the champagne. I keep walking. I have a picture of the Basquiat, the real one, a print I bought at the Brooklyn Museum. $40. It hangs in my living room. It's not worth millions. It's worth $40. I like it more. I learned something. If it seems too good to be true, it's a forgery. Art, money, love, everything. I was a lawyer. I should have known better. I didn't know better. I ignored myself. I trusted a man in a suit. I pay the price. Now I teach. I tell my students about Henri, about the polyester fibers, about the zinc white pigment. They take notes. They nod. They don't understand. They will. Someday. I am 62 years old. I have $9.2 million. I have a condo in Brooklyn. I have a storage unit with a worthless painting. I have a print worth $40. I have a wife who lives in Connecticut. I have a class of 20-year-olds who don't know Basquiat. I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I am here. That is enough.